just call him other musicians' names from now on.
For the rest of you, forever, every day. I actually just called.
Would you read? This is last year. The operating budget.
Latest call.
Tyler?
Yeah.
Tyler's already told him he won't be driving that car under these conditions.
Yes.
There's no way,
Right, it's our real budget.
right?
This is where that money is.
Live, everybody.
What a good guy. Wait, hold on, I gotta see it.
I'll go here in a minute. I just gotta do one thing.
He's lucky he didn't take out the jumbo jet. Oh, he did take out the jumbo jet? Straight to point that we could use a truck.
Can you send that
I'll be with everyone in just one moment. It is 6 o'clock. I know we're live. If I could have everyone please stand for the pledge. Good evening, everyone. I'll bring the budget committee to order, and then I'll have you bring the school board order. Starting with Mr. Brown.
Larry Brown here.
Wayne Burnham here.
Lisa Gashro here.
Bob Carey here.
Mike Blue here.
Laura Turgeon here.
Kate Hurd here.
And Humphrey Williams, so we do have a quorum. Doug?
That's that with, am I right?
Abigail Rooney here.
That's you?
Kate Hurd.
All right, I know first order of business, I do have the agenda up, but Peg had sent me an email late, so you guys have to revote on the change, is that what I
Peg
understand?
has some changes she wants to discuss.
Okay, so I'll let you do that as for the school, and then we'll roll where we were at.
Both the operating and the default,
Okay.
so she can explain them to the board members and see what they want to do.
Okay. Can you hear me? Travis? Based on, going down to the, based on a couple of recommendations from the budget committee last week, the elementary library, I checked, it's supplanting the equipment, so it's not feasible to put it into a grant. The elementary nurse's office can come out of the COVID grant, so reduction of $3,000. The SAU dues revert back to the default figure of $2,450, so reduce that line by $2,415. MES travel, add that back into what we proposed. It was dropped by error.
Okay, don't give me, Peg, let me go slow so I can
Oh,
make
do you
note.
want, here.
I was gonna say, I can make note of what you got, otherwise we'll be asking questions again.
Here.
Okay. Pass that out to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And because the teacher's contract is going to be a warrant article, any lateral moves on the salary scale, so if a teacher gets 15, they have a bachelor's, they get 15 credits, then they move over to a different salary scale, a lateral move. We have one person who next year is going to be the master's degree. So even if the proposed CBA is not approved, that happens automatically because it's already approved in the contract. So the salary line is an addition of 127745, FICA 9772, and New Hampshire Retirement 268. Both of the, or all three of these amounts are added to both the operating budget and the default. So underneath the reductions from the proposed, $5,415, the $3,000 and the $2,415. Added the $300 for the travel and the addition for the lateral move on the salary of $1,643.69. So the adjusted proposed budget total now is $11,335,918.81. The adjusted default is $11,382,672.43. The adjusted proposed versus default is $46,753.62 below, minus.
I want to go in and mark, I'm going to mark it on the form. So I want to make sure we're all on the same page, because I've got the spreadsheet up here.
Yep.
So I want to start with the school because it's near the top. So MES teacher salary, the line item is the very first one,
Is it MES?
MES teacher
Well,
salary.
we haven't voted on this yet, so should we vote on it?
No,
first?
I know, all I want to do right now, Peg, is just tag them, so when you guys go through, and you guys want to take it one line at a time and vote, and I'll make this bigger. That'll work.
Come on, I'm old. Be quiet there, Abigail.
All right.
Okay, yes,
So-
MES teacher salaries, that line should be adjusted by $1,277.45. I'm assuming this is a proposed budget, yes?
That's the proposed right
Okay,
there.
yep.
So the default, you're gonna want to add
The same
1,277 to both?
To the MES salary line, yes. So it gets added to both the proposed and the default.
All right. While I'm working the numbers here, I'll have one, maybe you guys want to vote on this, one section, one of these at a time? Doug, I don't know how you guys, Peg, I don't know how you want to do it, but I know you guys got to vote and whether or not you're agreeing on all
Right.
of these.
So I guess I'm asking, anybody have any questions, Travis or Abigail, or?
No, I reviewed them earlier.
Okay, so I make a motion that we just take it as it is and vote for the entire piece of paper, please.
No, I'd rather
Oh.
do each one separate, please.
Okay, all right.
Opposed, on the default.
Okay, so reductions from the proposed or the proposed total? Proposed total of $11,335,918.81. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? Travis? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Passes.
The adjusted default budget total, $11,382,672.43. Second?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Travis?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Passes, thank you. Go ahead, Peg.
Okay, and so we have actually reduced the proposed versus the default by about $5,000. Thank you. Okay, so now, Humphrey.
Yep, I'm just going to come through with what the changes are. I've got this on a separate one, so the default for the MES would be $8,858,462.70.
For what, the MES
The
teachers?
MES default for the teacher's salary.
Okay, can you do that again, please?
Yeah, let me do
sorry.
one thing here first so we can make sure that we account for this the right way. I just want to, all right. The MES default, I'm going to insert something in here so as we're doing this, we'll know what we're at. So this will be the default. I don't want to take the time to make all the
That's okay.
changes everywhere. I just want to make sure we've got this, then I can make the changes as we move forward. All right, so the default for the MES teachers. Let me insert. So that's MES. All right, default's $858,462.74. And the proposed, I'm going to try to increase this so everyone can see it best way possible, including me, $902,596.27.
902,
59627. So I'll do the, like the next. All right, so I'm just going to tag these so I know where we're at. So I can see the document. All right, MES. Teachers FICA. All right. So I said that the change for that is $97.72 for each one.
yes.
Which means the default is now $67,570.87. And the proposed is $71,068.21. So now we'll do the retirement. All right, and we said that's a change of $268.52 to both. So the default is now $174,627.04, and the proposed $183,845.70. And that is everything for line item 5 on your list. Item 1 on your list, which is the elementary library. You didn't change that.
No, that stays in the proposed.
Yep, we'll have that as a discussion, just want to make sure where we're at. The elementary nurse's office, let me get down to that one.
You know what? I'm sorry, can we, since we're in MES, or?
Oh, I'm sorry, the MES travel, you're talking about
Let's
the
do
travel?
Yep.
Yeah, you're right, we can put the 300 back in because I know what that was specifically. And I'll take our note out, so. 300 back in there. You guys voted on that one already? You voted on the
Yes.
total, right?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to delete that from our note. Now it's there. Okay. All right, so back, the elementary nurses off, that's the nurse's office, so that's not under elementary, just want to make sure we're right.
Yeah, it is the elementary nurses.
All right, so the next up will be the library. I think we'll see which other. I think nurses comes up first. So under that, you want to change the proposed back to the 700?
Let me
Or
go
do you
back.
want to leave it, I mean, you guys,
Yours-
that's why I want to make sure, I know you say you're going to do that with the COVID grant. And you made the comment that you can get that with the COVID grant, correct?
Yes, so that is,
$700 was the default.
right.
So you want to go with the $700? Place the 3,000?
Yes.
Everyone's following this, correct? I want to make sure, because if anyone has a question as we go, I want to make sure everyone understands that. So 700. That will be 0. Ours will not have to be there. Okay. So that's done. I'm going to do the SAU dues at this point.
Did you skip over the digital?
I skipped over the grant one for a moment. Yeah, because that's, I gotta make sure, I want to make sure of that as we go forward. I know what we had on these ones for, that we needed, we could change. So that one's gonna stay at the default, Peg, that's what you're telling me, right? So revert back to the default, 2450.
Right.
So there'll be no. We didn't have any change there anyways, because we didn't do anything with that yet. All right. And that leaves, and I just want to make sure when we're done, what we've got for a number. So next up is the elementary library. Library up.
Did you skip the curriculum, the change in that?
Well, I haven't, that wasn't,
There was no change.
no, there was no change recommended at all, John.
Okay,
They
so,
recommended, but,
We recommended a change. They did not
so that
recommend
stayed the
it.
same,
Yeah.
okay, all right. I wasn't-
Yeah, our change is separate from that.
Okay, all right.
All right, so I want to understand, so you guys are still proposing the $9,475 for the library?
yes, and John, I would like John to maybe speak a little bit about that, because it's his library, and she's actually teaching, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, so. John?
Okay, now out of that, you've got, as a grant, our suggestion was a warrant article.
And we decided we did not want to do a warrant article, just in case it does not pass. The overall budget is under the default, and this is something, as I said, I'd like John to talk about it just a little bit, because it is something that is really needed. It's part of teaching, so we do not want to put it in a warrant article with the possibility of it being
Well, I
defeated.
do know we gave, a full explanation the other night about wanting to be able to have
Well, I have-
furniture so it's interchangeable and
I
that.
also have,
Okay, if you got something more?
whenever you want, I can have.
Right now's good,
Right
John.
now? Okay. I also have the curriculum stuff in there, we can talk about that after, separately, but, if you want to take one and pass it down, so. Should I go to mine?
You can, wherever you would like to talk from, as long as People can hear. The mic would be good.
Okay. Okay, so I put together a packet. The first page, which is a salmon sheet, basically kind of gives you an idea of how I do budgeting. And when I'm asked about when we were doing a level-funded budget, we are basically looking at the needs. We look at the needs every single year. So what we do is we're shifting monies around where it needs to be rather than just kind of embedding it in there. And I know that we said that the 9,000 was like a big jump, which it is a big jump. But it would be like a different jump if it was like $5,000 every year I get to spend on furniture, but this year it gets to 10,000. So we don't have a furniture line because of a level funded budget. We mostly focus on the needs at the time. So what I've done here, if you could see, is that I've just kind of showed you just the MES budget. This is just the MES portion. And what this basically shows you is the cuts and the proposed. We did the $16,000 cut. We did the $16,000 cut. And that brought it down, so they were about $6,000 below last year's budget. And then with the additional cuts that were coming into place, it's $25,000 below last year's budget. And we're going to see an increase in enrollment. We were 238 last year. This year we're 250. Next year we're projected at 270. So what happens is if we keep taking funds when we present a need, it may be a jump in that one line that year, but we're adjusting it over the entire budget because it is a bottom line budget. So we are trying to control the costs and putting the monies where the need is. So that's what the $9,000 is. And the other one that was brought up was the curriculum. So the first thing you have here is a list of curriculum materials that we're looking at. Now, I understand that you want to know exactly what we're going to spend it for, and I wasn't able to provide that to you the other night, and I still can't provide every bit of what we're going to spend and what we're spending it on. But if you look at the next page, which starts with the blue pages, this is what I have in my budget, and most of it, about $5,000 of it, is earmarked for specific things that we do every year, either classroom specific or teacher specific or subject specific. And then down below there are more of them, and then we have the curriculum for $20,000 and an explanation of what that is for. Now the other blue pages kind of will give you an idea. It just shows you that we are discussing this in the school. Teachers are doing research, we're meeting, we're really trying to determine what we want to put together for interventions. We just are not there yet to give you a specific, this is what it's going to be. But we are looking at it and we are trying to come up with the most cost-effective and something that will be good for the students as well as enrichment. And we haven't looked at, this is interventions. We need to look at enrichment as well. So this just gives you an idea of what those monies are going to be spent on. Okay? Things we're looking at like Reflex Math, that's an online resource, so we have to do that every year. We cut that. But it is a math facts program, and the teachers are finding that we really could use that math facts, the drilling of the math facts, so they're requesting it to come back. So that is one of the programs we're looking at within that $20,000. Foundations is one of the programs we're looking at. It's $3,000 to $6,000 per grade level. Also, we're looking at another lively letters. This is all phonics, and it's also different. It's not a one program that's going to fit all. It's by grade level as well. So as you go through the blue pages, you can see, and then the second to last blue page is our Wonders materials, which is about $8,000 every 6 years. That my math is also, in addition, my math is going to be about the same amount of money in about 2 years. So these monies are what we're spending the curriculum money on. So what will happen is, if we do cut it, it's going to be the same thing like with the furniture. When I need it, for the kids, all of a sudden you can see a big jump. So that's why I'm trying to keep the funding level, like you said, level funding. And I'm not going over the budget. I'm living within the means of what we did last year. And right now, we're at $25,000 less than last year. So it's just more of a reappropriation of money. And then the last section you got here is, the white pages is all, this is from the librarian. Now, did I know that I would be here defending the $9,000 jump? I know. I knew what it was going to look like. I knew I put a target on my back with it. Why? Because I believed in it. When I read her proposal and I saw what she was going to do with it, I said, this is worth it. This is an excellent thing that she's looking to do to really create a library. And remember, the library, it's not just a library, it's furniture, nice furniture for library people to go sit and read. No, this is a classroom. It's a functioning classroom for K through 5. Now, if you see the furniture, and I've also included the furniture, we have bookcases that are broken. We also, I have there different pictures of kids. We have different age levels. So at the top right here, she has the kids sitting on the floor. She pushes tables all the way over so they can have a little section to sit. Because when they sit, they're always antsy. If you see down the bottom, some kids have their feet up with, like that, or their feet are not touching the floor, so they get very antsy when they're in the classroom. And then you also have a picture, I think, on the last page. These are 5th grade classrooms. It's just how crowded it can be and how congested it gets in the classroom. And then what I also added to, so you understand why this is a classroom, they have these standards. These are literacy standards for student learning. And what library does, it enhances literacy. And that's what we need to do. And that's what the purpose of this is make it a comfortable place for kids to go. So that's why I would like to keep that in there, and also to show you that it may be a big jump in one line, but it came from other places within the budget. And we are still under what we spent last year. It's just moving monies around where the need is for that year. Any questions on that?
All right, I guess, and the other night, I didn't say that wasn't a need. I want to make sure that that's clear. I understand the need, and I think everyone up here understands the need. I'm going to come back to the expended money, encumbered money that happened in June. And I'm going to start here, John, just up here on the screen, and I know everybody's got this handout tonight from the Budget Committee. At the end of the year, there was $1,830,000 sum balance.
I'm right. I didn't get that done.
No, I says everybody on the Budget Committee had it. I'll give you a copy.
Thanks, John.
Yep. I got one right here, Doug. You can have that.
I can't see
I
that.
knew we were going to show it on the screen, but...
I can't see that.
No, not a problem. On the back of... Trip over my own cords.
No idea what you're talking about.
Yep, so that's what's on the screen, and this is what we talked about with the $611,000. So, this was the summary that we were given, that Mr. Keisman had sent out at the end of the year. We got this in July, and it showed, like I said, $611,825.80 had been encumbered. So, with that in mind, what's on that other sheet I'm going to bring up, we had asked what the money was spent for, okay? If you look up here on the screen, and it's on the back of the agenda form, and by the way, Peg, I want to thank you, and I want to make this a public thing for people at home. Peg Hurd has gone out of her way, and I'm sure everyone up here on this Budget Committee knows that, and I want this recognized. You have gone over and above what anyone would ever expect to try to get us all this data, and I really appreciate that, and I know this committee appreciates that. Thank you. So, in no means, when we're talking about this, is this anything against what Peg's done, because she's given us more than we've ever asked for. So, Peg had given us what the expenditures were, but I want you to refer to the bottom where it shows the $611,000. And John, you don't, I mean, you've got elementary replacement furniture and fixtures. There was money put aside there. It wasn't the $9,000, but there was money spent there. Money set aside there. There was money set aside for the high school and for the middle school for furniture. There was money set aside for operation and maintenance and repair of buildings. There was money set aside for IT equipment. Okay? Now, we replaced, according to what's here on Peg's list, they replaced 37 classroom tables and 172 chairs. I'm just surprised with all that, and by the way, when you go through all of what Peg gave us, that was a total of $248,120 out of the $611,825. There's $330,000 at the bottom here that I have highlighted, $330,384.19, having to do something with food service. One's contracted, one's transfer. Now, the transfer I know we see year in, year out. The contracted one we don't see year in and year out all the time. I'm saying that amount. I don't.
Oh, yeah, because it depends on the contract.
It varies. So,
Right.
and I understood the $5,569 was for the replacement of the foundation for the freezer and everything else. That was part. I
no,
think
it
food
could-
service replaced equipment. That was the freezer, wasn't it?
It could have been anything else. We actually own all of the equipment for food service, so anything that gets broken, we have to replace. So that could have been a refrigerator, it could have been, whatever.
Okay. But you would identify, the reason I say that is up top, you would identify the outside freezer.
Right, but I would not put that, I would say they're two different numbers, so maybe, I don't know. That's why I've already told Humphrey. I did.
She's done everything she could, but I know that you haven't found all of them.
And I had to send this off to Milton because he did the end of the year report. Just what is this 33,000? Can you?
That's kind of where that's where I'm going, and like I said, I want to defend you on that as well. But John, where I'm trying to find out is, I'd like to know, and this isn't for you, and it's not for Jen, this is just a general thing. There's a lot of things up here. The science curriculum, your language stuff, the ELA, that's all identified up here, which we talked about.
This is all purchased through grant money.
Pardon me?
No, this is fund balance, right?
Yes.
Fund
This was fund balance, not grant money.
Right.
That's right, fund balance.
Okay? So,
So, and I understand that, and I know where we spent the money. We spent it on the program, and what was happening was that I had $25,000 put aside for that money. So what happened was, we're fortunate that, we're not fortunate and unfortunate, it was $60,000, the program. So that's where we were able to use it out of the fund balance, use the 25 plus some fund balance money to get the program. So, which is great, that was very helpful, so we were able to go on and look at interventions. So just to show you, this is what's
okay,
called.
John, I got to stop you for a moment. I got to stop you for just a moment. I hadn't finished what I wanted to say, okay? I'm not asking you to defend the furniture. That's not what my point was.
Well, the furniture's not library furniture in there.
I understand that. My point is, and I know Peg's trying to get answers, and I want to make sure the committee understands, when I see this much money set aside, and if you look at the money that did not come out of a balance of funds for each of those line items. That came out of a $1 million balance at the end of the year. Okay? The reason that I had talked about warrant article, that's where a lot of the money comes out of fund balance. And I understand it's up to the school board what warrant articles get submitted, and committed too, I guess. But with that in mind, and the reason I said that is we're still talking about a one-time purchase, and that makes it even harder for you or Jen or anyone else. If you're looking at, let's go put a one-time purchase in here. When we start looking at historical numbers to try to figure out if your budget's right, to see it $300 and then $9,000, that default next year becomes $9,000. So it's a lot more than what you think, because somewhere else it didn't move unless you do that. So that's my concern as a budget committee chair and as a budget committee for the town. To see a $9,000 spike on a $300 item. I understand what you're asking for, but that's not the norm.
But the spike did not come, the spike is not isolated. The spike came because we took monies from other parts of the budget and put it into that line.
I
So
understand-
we did
I
not
understand
go
what
over
you-
it.
I
So
understand
just to
what
let
you
know,
did.
This money that was on that list, that's that $90-something thousand, that is tier one materials. That's tier one. That means every student. What we did not do was buy interventions. Now, I know that there's a lot of money and it's a lot of numbers. I'm not really understanding it, but what I'm looking at is I know what the elementary books, I know what I spent the money on, and that's the elementary books, and that was science and so forth. So what I'm looking at is, I'm telling you that we did not purchase intervention materials. And what's going to happen is, if we cut that money, and then when we need materials, like last year, there was a big jump because I put $25,000 in. That was a big jump. If you look historically, we didn't have that curriculum. We only put it in when we did the math program, and then we put it in again when we wanted to do the Wonders program. So it was no money ever for curriculum. This is the first time last year, and with my math, that we were able to get some materials. So once I cut it, it's going to be the same thing. Then you're going to see a big spike down the road. So I'm just trying to say that so it's a difference in philosophies of budgeting. I budget, I've asked to come up with a number, I'm asked to level fund. So I level fund. That doesn't mean I level fund every single line. That means I see how much I have to spend, and I put the money where the need is.
So now let me try to help you out. And again, this is me speaking. You got $95,000. I know you bought, at the end of June.
Right.
You have a $30,000 budget plus for this year.
Yes.
We moved it from 3,700. That was my comment the other night. It jumped from 3,700 to 30,000, and last year you gave a great explanation, and that's the reason we approved it. Well, if your normal is 3,700 and you bought your stuff for this year with the 95,000 that you weren't expecting to get, to me, you've got some money in there that you could talk to the school board to try to figure out how to get your furniture now, rather than ask for a $9,000 increase for next year's
Well,
budget.
then we can't put it as a default because we'll never be able to, yes.
That's kind of my point. If you put the $9,000 in there, all right, I may not be, I don't know who on this budget committee is going to be here next year to be able to remember that $9,000 is going to get moved somewhere else.
Well, that
becomes
has to
the
do with
new-
trust.
Understand something. This becomes the new default if it's approved.
Just like that $30,000.
Became the new default, and you got $95,000 that you weren't expecting encumbered just for those resources.
When you said
Correct.
this is a
I
one-time
understand that.
purchase.
But that's not, but that was a one-time purchase. This is additional
But
purchase.
you've already gotten it, and you still have that money here right now.
Right.
You still have the $30,000. You got your one-time purchase, and you
keeping
still
that
have the
$30,000.
money.
Okay, and
still
it's
have
not
money now.
30,000, it's less than 20. And right now,
I'm
it's
talking
about
about this
20.
year's budget.
This year's budget.
You got $95,000 encumbered, and you spent it. That's what's on that list up here. On the stuff that
Okay.
you were looking for a one-time purchase this year. But you still have $30,000 worth of budget that you were going to use and already purchased the stuff. That's kind of where my point is. When you get, and this isn't you personally.
No, I understand,
This is
I
something
understand.
with you got with the principals and the school board and the superintendent and the administrator. When extra money gets moved to go purchase things, something has to give somewhere else. That's what I did.
Exactly.
And I'm not.
You're right.
And I'm not slapping your hand. I did the same thing to the town, year in and year out. They were encumbering money and then asking for the funds again.
Right.
And we stopped that this year because it says, look, you didn't spend it. And you didn't spend it because you encumbered the money. So you can't, that's double dipping. If you got extra money,
I'm not sure about the encumbering, but good.
no, when you encumber the money, it's giving you money now that came from last year's budget. That's what encumbering is.
But I understand, but that's been spent.
Yes. On items you were looking to get this year. It was spent in this school year.
I think it was,
It's off of last
Okay, I'm
year's
getting
budget,
confused.
but it was purchased in July or whenever.
right.
Okay, you got a comment?
Yeah. If
I believe, quite honestly, and that's why we approved to encumber this money at the end of the year. Curriculum is one thing. Science, I know, what was it, Jen, like 10 years old or 20 years old or something? It was very old.
Oh, I understand the reason it was
Okay,
purchased.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is that we were lucky enough that we actually had money left over that we could purchase curriculum. If you look at these prices, they're very expensive. We got curriculum. What is now being looked at this year are interventions, the normal smaller things every single year that help the kids. So we have curriculum, and that's what the end of the year fund balance, or whatever you want to call it, was used for. It gave administration the opportunity to actually purchase curriculum which is needed.
And to get ahead.
And I understand, I do understand that,
So
Pat.
I guess I'm trying to say we're talking about two totally different things. I know you're looking at numbers, and we spent this. Why are we asking for this? We spent this because we had the money. It was used for an overall, and I'm trying to just come up with something else that I can liken it to, but it was used for curriculum that is going to be in place now for probably another 20 years, I don't know. Now, they're looking at stuff that is day to day, helping the kids move forward. So we're talking about, in my estimation, coming from an education background, apples and oranges.
And some of these programs too that are listed there, those are yearly costs. It's not just a one-time purchase.
Oh, I know that. But when you talked to us last, the reason I'm bringing it up, and Peg, I understand that curriculum's different than furniture. That isn't-
I'm not talking about furniture. I'm
No, but
talking about-
I'm talking about the money for a moment here. It sounds like you got a real need today, not just waiting until the next school year. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yep.
Okay. So all I'm trying to get at is, it seems like a lot more money than normal was encumbered for a lot of things, and for good reasons, that because you were able to turn around and get those, and it was planned for this school year, but you got them ahead, I would think that the school board has the right to move money to a place that's needed. Why wouldn't you do that now rather than wait till next year and add it to the budget?
Because
That's
next
kinda
year,
what we
if these
talked
are
about
yearly
at the time.
programs, they'll be in the budget again. If they become, like, Dreambox is one of them we got now, but that's already on there, but Reflex Math, that's $3,300, and there's another piece to it. I know it's going up, they've already told us that they're all going up. It's going to be near $4,000, and that's a yearly expense, but we haven't made the decision whether to purchase that or not. But once we do, some of these are yearly expenses, and if we decide to go with, like, interventions that we get, that is a yearly subscription, and we end up spending $10,000, $15,000, let's say we spend $15,000 on it, then the following year, when we do the budget, it will be, the encumbrance will be what we spent, because we will have got those materials. But right now, what we're trying to do is establish what we're going to do for our Tier 2 learners. Everything that was encumbered were our Tier 1 learners. Now we're looking at Tier 2. And this year, I got one down here, if you see, we already purchased that one with a one-time grant. We spent $21,000 on one program. That was a one-time cost. It's a one-time cost, they're usually going to get their money. And sometimes, even the one-time costs come with online subscriptions or professional development, all these different things that go with it. So you made a point earlier is about something about money, moving money, and you need to move your monies where the needs are, the bottom line budget. That's what I did. That's why the $9,000 is there, and I'm still down $6,000. So I want you to understand, I'm not trying to get an additional $9,000 in the committee.
I understand that. I'm also trying to figure out how you might be able to get that now, because enough money was put aside for other things. How can you get it now and then not have to ask for it next year? That's part of it. And again, my point being, I understand what you're doing, John, But the next person in this seat may not know that when they see $9,000, they go, oh, that's going to be what's going to be spent year in, year out. Okay? It'd be up, so this doesn't carry forward for everyone to know that in out years, okay? Trust me, I appreciate what you're trying to do with all the information. But I want to turn it over to find out what other committee members here, because the other night when we talked about this, we were pretty much in agreement across the board, as far as I knew, that we thought this was a perfect warrant article item. How does everyone feel?
Mr. Chairman, that should go as a warrant. I don't think it's going to fail.
I don't believe it would fail either, not for the library and not for the purpose. I think this is a perfect warrant article item.
Still in agreement with that?
My concern is that once it's in the budget, it stays in the budget indefinitely. Because let's face it, just like when taxes go up, right? Taxes never go down, really. Once something's in the budget, it stays in the budget. It automatically rolls over to a default budget. And I appreciate the fact that you are under your default budget, but you're only under that default budget because everything was added into the default budget. So, I mean, I do think that, taxpayers would vote yes on something like that as a warrant article. And again, I appreciate all the information, and I'm not saying that the kids don't need it or deserve it. It's quite opposite. I just don't think it belongs in the budget.
And I understand what you're talking about with the default budget. It does become part of the default, but that's where we show where we can save it. And I guess that goes to
But does it really
the
save
integrity
it?
and the relationship we build, and knowing that I'm not going to just stick money, because that's my budget book. If you see that blue book, I have every PEO request ready to go, because I make sure I can back every dime. And that's why I was kind of iffy the other night, where I knew what we were going to do with the money, I just didn't have it definite. But that's why I wanted to show you what we're working on. So
To try to bring this back for a moment, Laura, I want to come back to you. John, I understand what you've done, and I've been fortunate enough to have worked with you the last few years on this, and I mean, I appreciate what you're doing. We don't know if you're going to be in that position next year. Nobody knows. I'm not saying I'm hoping. No, understand my point.
let's vote now.
We do not know who's going to be in the budget committee. Don't know that you're going to be the person in that seat. You may move on. You may get a better job someplace else. Don't know. Okay? And I hope if you do move on, it's for those purposes, But
Win a lottery,
so-
I mean,
Yeah. But so the next person that may come in, all they're going to see is $9,000 some odd dollars for that furniture. Without your background, they're not going to know that, oh, that was just that one time. That's what warrant articles are intended for, so you don't see the spikes. We talked about this. It was the same thing with trying to get vehicles, and I understand what happened, but I have not seen library issues get shot down or real needs get shot down under warrant articles, and I don't believe anyone up here has either. Lisa?
So maybe it's a stupid question, but could this be encumbered next year?
It could be encumbered at the end of the year if funds are available.
So, okay, so there are other possibilities.
By the way,
And-
there's also what happens to cover warrant articles,
And if,
using the extra money.
and if a warrant article was placed and it got shot down, would they still be able to encumber it? Okay, that's what I thought,
Hold
so
on.
maybe,
Yes, they could still encumber money, but could they do it for that specific item? Not necessarily. They can do something different.
that's what I thought.
That's
So
my
maybe
concern.
the warrant article isn't the solution, maybe encumbering it at the end of the year is more of a solution. That way, it's not, messing with the budget spikes.
And by the way, in defense of what she just said, $95,000 did not come out of the resources. It came from the excess that went in to go purchase those resources. So if you don't do it in a warrant article, you could do exactly what Lisa said as well.
And I understand that, but I also don't want to think that we're like going to pad the budget to have a big fund balance.
No.
Because I want to be upfront, and I know. I mean, I can leave here tonight. If I leave here and you say no still, I know that there's still a chance we're gonna get those tables, because we could have teacher attrition, there could be monies available, there could be a fund balance, we could decide not to purchase something else and purchase, I understand that. But I think the town needs to know what we're spending the money on and why we wanna spend the money, and that's why I'm putting it in there.
I don't think anybody up here has a problem with what you want to do. I think it's just about really where it's being placed to approve the money.
And I understand that.
You have it in the budget or a warrant article, the people are going to know what you spent it on anyway.
Well, true, I understand that. This is the process, this is our process. We need to know, I don't want you to,
And I appreciate
I don't want to
that.
bank on, ooh, we're gonna have extra money, we're gonna go wild on it. I don't want you to think that either. I'm up front here and I'm telling you exactly what I want to spend money on. And if you say no, and if we end up having it, because it's still a bottom line budget, we can do that. So, and I understand that. And that's why I'd rather not be a warrant article. Because I would rather it, because we can do it in phases too. Thank you.
Do you have something else on that?
No, I'm in agreement with not adding it to the budget.
Okay. So I want to go back through where we were on, after making the adjustments.
A lot of stuff is still thinking.
Yeah, well, we're going to go back and look at those. I just want to go back and look at the changes. Based on the changes that we made, I want to make sure where we're at. Your numbers came out to a proposed budget of $11,335,918.81. That is not what I come up with making those changes. I came up with $11,336,32.62. So I want to make sure of what we changed, so that I want to go back and,
All right, and that was just the
yeah.
3,000, the 2415 out, adding the
I wanted-
300, and then adding the default of that.
I'm going to go back and just make sure of the number, I'm sorry, I want to go back and make sure of the numbers, because I may not have made the changes yet, and I got to go back and make sure. So the new, yeah, I did not make them, so I want to put them back in and make sure where we're at. So the teachers, 902, I'm going to go copy these two numbers in and make sure we're all set. All right, so as I said here, I want to go make these two. Yeah, no, I know, I didn't make the changes. I made the changes and talked about them, but didn't post them back in here. I want to make sure before we move forward that we're all on the same page. What does that do? Put this up top. Split screen, and bear with me for a moment with these folks. Better. I had a formula. Six. First one. If I can change. FICA. Is that? Teacher salary, I'm gonna go back through and make sure, so teacher salary, the default, 858,000.
I think that's the original, not the change. Scroll up a little bit. Yeah, it should be the 858, 462.74.
That's what I have, 850, oh, I'm sorry, I typed it wrong.
Yeah, you typed in the original.
Thank you, Abigail. That's where I'm going, when you're trying to type it instead of copy it over, but I can't copy it over because it creates a rounding number, rounding formula, thank you. That's why I want to double check, and then the other one's right. All right. So we still have, I'm still off by $2,000 here somehow, but I think it's, all right. So we changed the teacher salaries, that is now 858, 462.74 for a default,
Wait a minute, what?
858.
Yep,
462.74.
74, which is what you did, yep.
And,
The proposed,
and the proposed is 902, 596, 27.
yep.
Okay. Just want to make sure, so I'm going to go back through these because this is where the math has to be right on the money. And what I said was under FICA, sure what we got here. The new default is $67,570.87.
87, okay, all right.
And the new proposed is $71,068.21.
Yep.
Now we'll go and do the retirement. I want to make sure of that. So that new the new default is $174,627.04.
Yep.
And the proposed $183,845.70. All right, then back down. We've changed. I'm going to close this other one out here. And changed the library because that was under yours. The nurse's office, we did change. I just want to go down and make sure what we're changing it. That's why I want to double check where we're at. It was different than mine at this point, but I think we had one more change. The nurse's equipment went back to the default, to $700.
Yep.
Okay, so that's right. The dues. Make sure I changed it. I want to show you under the library, I did not, oops, before we go anywhere, I did not take your proposed out. The proposed was $9,475. I didn't take it out. You've got $91.55, which is the difference between the two, which is correct. Okay, make sure. Now, under the dues, it says $2,450.
Right.
And I know we put the 300 back in, we did that already too for the travel.
Up above, yep, yep.
So we have a different number than you guys, than what you guys had. Done with yours. Down below, and that's down the bottom of that one. 450. And that won't change, so one, 450. Did in. You've got the same number I do.
Yeah.
The number is, for the default, is not what you have here. And I didn't change anything other than what we talked about, so just,
Okay, what did you?
so the default is $11,381,850.59.
All right, so,
I want to make sure you guys have the right number when you,
okay, so 11,300,000.
381,850 and 59 cents. The same, right?
Okay, so what, oh, God.
And then the,
Okay, so what did you take out? Let me just go back. You took out the 3,000. You took out the 2415.
Took out the 2415.
Added back 300.
You added the 300, yep.
And then you added the.
MES changes for the salaries and the FICA and the retirement. Yep.
So what did I do wrong?
No, but anyways, the proposed is 11,337,654
All right, let's go back to that.
$47,654.47.
All right, what do you, 11 million?
11,337,654.47.
So you're raising
It's, I'm not raising it, that's, she gave me the wrong.
That's-
I'm putting it up on what you guys voted on.
on. You're raising it now, you raise it higher.
Put yours up to where it is, yeah,
where it should be.
where it should be. And the difference here is $44,196.12.
100 what, 93?
96.
$44,196.12.
So that's what your numbers come out to.
I think what you might have done, Peg, is taken the 2415 out twice, or you took 2450 out instead of 2415. The number's off by like a double on that number.
Okay, because what,
I think you had the dues taken out twice, and you might have taken the whole thing out when you did your math.
well, the reductions, I had 5415, which is the 3,000 and the 2415, and then added 300, and then I'm assuming the 1277, the 97, and the 268 come out to the 1643.
Well, I want to tell you what the difference is here in just one moment. And based on your number and based on
I'm only 2,000 off.
1,735.66. Your difference is, and I can tell you, those are the numbers that you gave me for the teachers. I don't think you put them, I think, the difference of those numbers for the teachers are the differences, roughly. That's roughly the 1,700. Somehow, that's where some of your math came in, I think. But I do know that that's why both Laura and I did it. She did it on, starting from the same place. So with that in mind, I know the school board's going to want to, we'll be going.
Okay, I just added, all right, whatever the teacher's stuff was, is $1,643.60. 9 cents? So that number is right, so I have no clue what I did. Sorry. It's probably-
Anyway, it's okay. Anyways, that's the reason we're using the spreadsheet, to make sure. And Abigail caught the other one up there, so we know we're on the right track.
How do you know Excel is working right?
How do I know Excel's working right? Let me put it this way, because Bill Gates made it that way. I don't know.
Okay.
So anyways, Doug, what do you want to do at this point before we move forward? You guys had voted, and I'm sure that's based on your numbers. Nothing else has changed yet, unless you cut something else, before we go in further with the comments and questions.
How do we know we got them right this time?
This is why I went and double checked it and had it done on more than one machine.
Triple and quadruple checked it with the sounds.
39,713.
The difference between the two is 44,196. Cents.
12 cents. You're at right.
But I have a question about the document you passed out.
Yeah, we're going to go to that. What's your question?
Your count lines, I don't think.
Some of my what?
Count lines aren't correct.
Those are exactly what we were given. All I did was copy and paste that from the, and I'll bring it up on the screen. That's just copy and pasted from the June 30th, the June 30th report we got.
I mean, some of them, I got to the same situation, and some of those
And
count
in
numbers
fact,
are incorrect.
before you guys go through, I will bring that up. You're talking about the encumbrance?
No,
Or are you talking about the, that's the encumbrance?
I don't know.
Right here, what numbers are in, this is, again, all this is from the report that we got at the end of the school year.
Go to one of these documents, and then what was given to you before, this old book, or one of these other small books, and see where those, your middle one checks out. That's a line.
Which middle one?
Food service, food transfer, that's a correct line. I don't know where 600, 532, comes from. Usually one represents MES.
You go through and write that, let me bring that up, right down the bottom of the screen here.
All right, you're going to ask me to see that.
No, I'll make it big enough for you. Matter of fact, we'll
Right
put
up.
it in Braille if it helps.
And the number's got to be wrong.
And again, I say, if the numbers are wrong, why are we posting them up on the SAU site? And why are we promoting them as?
Remember last time we went, there was an error made. Errors made.
Right there is the number from the report. This is down the bottom. And I'm going to give you the raw data,
Is that the contract with Cafe Services?
contracted service.
It's the wrong number.
Here's the
I mean,
snap.
I admitted last time there's errors on these reports.
Okay. Let me bring up where it is.
You want to keep going back to that. I said there was errors. There is errors.
But Doug, how are we supposed to
Now, by the way-
rectify this?
I am
Okay,
just.
Hold on, and I want to go
Sure.
back and defend. That is under building improvement, not under food service. You're right. That copied over, that number is building improvement.
So we shouldn't have gone over?
No, that's where the 4,600, that's where the money came from when it was encumbered. I'm going to bring it up so everybody can see this on the screen. When it copied over to the encumbrance piece, the title was off, but the numbers are the same.
That goes way over to food services on the right.
The food services, that's my mistake.
Okay.
My mistake.
And that changes the
It's
other.
building improvement.
But I still can't find that 4,600 line.
It's right here this is the data. That's what I'm trying to give you. This is the data, up here on the screen, Doug, and I'm going to blow it up. This is
Is that
the
the one
hard,
you got?
this is the hard data we
Is that the one you
got.
got from us?
That's exactly what we got from you.
Well, it's not in this, we've been using this for years, and it's not in here.
That line item,
Error.
that line item is listed as 4,600 building improvement.
But you have the food service, which makes it.
I know. The food service, the title got capped, that's why I said. The title piece, I made a mistake. I copied, that was done in sections to try to give it to you guys. I copied the wrong line.
Okay.
I copied the wrong line for the title. The title is contracted services, which is correct. It's building improvement is what that should have said.
Well, under what,
That was a hard copy.
That's what I'm using, Excel.
under what heading is it under?
Building improvement, 4,600.
See, 4,600. Show me where I'm wrong.
Comes up right after your unemployment, and there was a budget of $315,932.46 for contracted services under building improvement. Right here.
Give them the line.
That's what right there. If you look up, it's line 816 on the spreadsheet here, but this, and if you need it, I'll make it even bigger. That's the line item. So, highlight it right there. That's the raw data that we got from you guys. That came up. This is the actual report you guys see with all the underlines and everything else. That's what, and it's posted and everything else. That's the line item. I made a mistake when I copied the title back over.
Be above bond.
Huh? It's just above sales of bonds, yes.
Okay, that's what I need to know. Food service set me in the wrong place.
Yes, that's my fault, Doug. I apologize. Like I said, I was copying and pasting as quick as I could this morning to make sure everyone had some data.
Humphrey?
Yeah.
I got my same number.
What?
I just got the same number
You had before?
that I had before. What did you, the only thing we can think of, and I mean, I had Abigail
Let me
look.
see where you started and I'll bring up what it was. How's that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
wanna
I think
know-
we
yeah.
might have different starting numbers.
Let's make sure we're on the same page for starting. I'm gonna save.
I'm not that crazy. I am crazy, but not that
Right.
Save that. This is under, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna bring up the one, this is why I keep a separate one for the meeting. We're gonna make sure we're on the money when we're through here, so. Let's see what the starting points were.
And the proposed. Please, start with that.
All right, the starting default.
No, I said proposed, please.
I know, but your default number was different too.
I know, but I just did the.
The starting proposed data was $11,339,390.12.
Okay, we've got the same starting number. Yep. And, I mean, I just did it again. Abigail, watch me do
I'm
it.
doing it too.
Okay, so guess what we're gonna do? This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take it on this form. I'm gonna save, make sure it doesn't save, and we'll do it on this one. Make sure there isn't a mistake. We'll do it together. All right, I'm only gonna do the proposed that we talked about. So we'll see what changes. Keep an eye on me, would you? So I type right.
Keep an eye on me, I love it.
902, 596,
0.27.
7. Next, I'm not going to do the default right now. I'm only going to, I'm not saving this. I just want to go back down. The next thing's going to be MES teacher FICA, which is the number. I know the numbers, I had to add that to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure, I'm going to add it right here on the screen and we'll go put it back. 70,970.49 plus 732. Sign in there this time and make it. All right, so 71,068.21. You got that too, Peg?
Teacher's salary. What do you
FICA.
got? I haven't done that. Hold on. Just a minute, please. Where's the FICA? 97. 7.72. 7106.821.
So down to retirement, for teachers' retirement. Changes from 71,78843, is that where you're starting from?
Yes.
Plus 268,52.
No.
What?
Yes, MES teacher.
MAS teacher's retirement, correct?
It'd be 183,577.18.
I'm on the wrong, no, I see what Travis is saying, I'm on the wrong line. I gotta go
Oh,
up
up there, okay. I can't see up there.
highlight it, make
You
sure.
guys horizontal.
Try it.
It's this one here.
Okay.
That might be what that might have been what the issue was.
Okay.
All right, so we started with MES teachers' retirement is 183,577.18.
Yes.
Okay. That might be what, I made a mistake.
You gave me the right number to begin with.
No, I'm saying when I went back and changed it.
Oh, okay, all right.
So 183,845.70.
Yes,
Okay,
and that's what you had given me.
Added the same number.
so 5.70.
What line? As long as you added the same.
So I'm at 11,340,000 at this point. We gotta go back and make sure the other
Travel.
changes. Gotta go add travel. So let's put 300 in here. The other thing is the differences are not math on this form when you guys sent it. They were just hardcore, so I'm only gonna look at the total when we're done. I'm not saving this one. Sure. So we got that.
You added
That's the
the
$300.
You added the 300,
Yep.
okay? And now you're gonna take away the 24,
Down, you'll get, yeah, we're gonna do it in this exact order.
maybe it should be the 3,000 first, because I think the nurse,
I'll come back.
yeah, the nurse comes.
I'd rather do it in the order where we're at, so make
Okay.
sure that we're right by the time we're through here. So under the SAU, it's no longer 4865, it's 2450.
Yes,
So that's all set. Again, we did the $300.
you added.
All right. I'm gonna go back to the nurses one, right? Show where we're at, yeah, nurses. All right, it said 37, and we're gonna make it say 700. Which we just did, and that's the last change. And it is 11,337,654.47.
Did you reduce the SAU?
Yes, I did. It's the same number we came up with before.
But you can't, but it's like we just did exactly the same thing. We started with. the
I'm
same
using
number.
modern math.
What?
I'm doing modern math.
I'm doing old-fashioned math, okay?
I'm doing it right on the spreadsheet.
2 plus 2
We
is.
just did it again, so our numbers go up. But
No, I mean, no, and it's not just me, it's Abby, looking at my numbers, doing the same calculations.
Yeah.
And we started with the same number.
Are you sure
I'm not
it's
even
not
looking at
linked
it.
to something else?
all right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the bottom and see if there's anything different here that I'm missing. I know this thing doubles it up.
You don't have it on a spreadsheet yet.
It's on the spreadsheet.
No,
I know.
Excuse me, yes, all right, this is my spreadsheet. This is my other spreadsheet.
Let's, all right. I'm going to go back to where we said we started, because I'm gonna go back to, out of here. We're gonna do something a little different, see where we're at. Make sure I wanna see what, so here's what we've done. The 95, we didn't change anything with the 9155, that stays right there.
Yep,
So we reduced 2,300.
what's 2,300,
We reduced we reduced 3,000
right?
to the 700, so 3,000.
I'm taking
We
away.
subtracted the 2415. All I'm trying to do is,
Yeah.
I want to do where we're at here. So I'm doing exactly what you've got, so between them, that's the 5415,
right?
okay, subtracted.
And
We
the-
added 300.
Yep,
We added 1,277.45,
9772.
97, 72, and
Plus-
268.
52.
I'm doing it without
Calculator?
16, no. Six. 16, 4369.
yep.
All right. In between them. So we subtracted 3,772.31 total.
See, and that's where I think you guys have it different. You've got it subtracting 5,415.
Well, because we're subtracting the 3,000 plus the 224.
You've got to take the 1643 and subtract it from the 5415, it leaves you 3,772 comes off of the budget.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
You what, okay, you're subtracting 5,415 and you're adding 1,643.
Actually,
So-
1,943.
Yeah, we're subtracting 5415, we're adding 300, and we're adding
You're getting 19.
69.
Because it's 300 and 16.
And that comes out to
69.
the 11,335,000.
Where are you getting the all right, it's 1277, 268 and 97 is not 1,600 by itself. It's 1,643 total, including the 300.
No. Add the 1277.45, the 97.72,
Yeah.
and the
She's right.
268.52, and it comes to $1,643.69.
Got these on there?
Million different ways, it's still the same number.
And is the 1643.69 is the total being removed?
No.
No, it's being added.
That is being added plus the 300.
Hang on. I understand that. You're adding the money back in, but it has, we're subtracting 5,415, then we're adding 1643.69 back in.
Plus
Plus 300.
Plus, the difference between them is going to be 3,000 and change, and that's what I'm trying to get to. I think you added those two numbers together to figure out what you were subtracting from the budget. You can't put the two numbers together. That's the difference. You're adding those two numbers up. They're not added together. 1643 is, and that's removed from the.
What are you
All right. Let me show you up here what I'm talking about.
God.
Well, no, I'm just going to do it on the screen, and let's talk about what the opening budget was, and we're going to put the numbers up on the screen so you see where it comes out.
18 different ways.
Yeah, no, I know, and I know that. So let's just start with the number that we had, and I want to show you that I think I know what was done wrong.
Can you see up there?
All right, the opening number, we all in agreement, it was 11,339,390 and 12.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm going to put that on the other sheet here that we're working on. I'm going to start with the 11,390 and what the heck was it?
11,339,390.12.
11,339.
390.12.
I just want to start where we're at. All right, 0.12. That's the starting point. I want to make sure that that's money so we know what we're talking about.
Make the cell bigger.
All right. So I said that I typed it. Yeah, I'm trying to put it in here.
Okay.
11,339,339,012. Why did it not?
Yep.
33. All right, starting point. This is getting to be too hard tonight. All right,
Take out,
we're gonna subtract 5415, right? And I'm gonna put that down. That's gonna be a minus. In fact, I'm gonna make it say negative. We are adding 300. I'm gonna put all the numbers in and let it do it for us. Add the 300, right?
yes, yes.
We're gonna add 1277,
1643,
45. I'm doing each of the numbers individual. 1277, 45, 97.72, right? And 268.52. Now, I'm going to do this first, because I want to make sure this all says, same thing, it all says money. So when we do it, we'll know what all lines up. All right.
Equals
You're
sum.
going to take, yeah, well, no, what I'm going to do is sit there and show you something here. So these right here add up to 1943.69. You're in agreement, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to take equals J1, and because I made it negative, I'm adding that. And I'm going to add this one,
Just highlight them all
this
together.
one, this one, and that one.
Where did 5 go?
No, I didn't.
All right, have you ever done the equals
It's-
sum?
You're all set. I did that. It is, for some reason, I don't know why, it's coming out to 11,335,821.09. I don't know why it's not coming out.
Not on ours.
It's not coming out on the spreadsheet, so something, I don't know why. So I'm gonna make sure when we're doing this, huh?
I did it the same way they did with the calculator, and it came out.
No,
for them, so.
to them, no, you guys are right on the number. I'll make sure the spread, I gotta make sure, don't know why it's doing it on the spreadsheet, so I'm gonna,
We just get rid of the spreadsheet, do it the old-fashioned way?
no.
It ain't working out.
I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. We'll get rid of the spreadsheet if you give us an itemized spend of everything that you
No.
spent over year
Yeah.
on a
How many years you want?
Correct.
Here's,
You didn't answer me, how many years?
I would just love 2021.
what I'm gonna do, because we know the number is 11 million, I will make sure the spreadsheet adds up after, because I said I wasn't gonna do all the math at that point.
So can you just reiterate, what is the default budget? and What is the proposed
I
budget?
gotta do the same thing on the default, and we're gonna, the default, and let's make sure where we started. The
Okay.
default started with 11 million,
Wait a minute.
I wanna make sure where we're starting, 11,381,028.74. We in
Yes.
agreement?
Yes.
Copy. Put this back over here, I have no idea why this other. It happened on yours too.
It happened on mine.
Hey, Bill Gates was wrong. Yeah, I had to have typed something off. I did it.
Yeah, but I would have, and then I typed it off too.
I know.
You guys are on camera, you better be careful what you're saying.
Thank you.
It takes one spot to mess it up. All right, and I just want to make sure we're dealing with the same numbers in the end. Based 11 million. What in the heck? That's not right. All right, so we've got J1, 4, J5, plus J6. Guess what? J4, J5. No, the numbers are not what you guys said. I just found out it's off.
Scroll down, right? You don't have to do each one individually.
I know, I'm trying, but I'm just trying to make sure I got it when I do it, and I know I can do it different. I'm just trying to throw it all up there so we've got every one of the items. So 11,335,918.81, that's what we said, right? And 11,335,918.81. $377,557.43.
That's the default?
We didn't make all
No,
of
the
the,
11,
we didn't make the same
35.
changes to the default that we did proposed.
That's their adjusted proposed.
The adjusted proposed is $11,335,918.81.
Yep, that's correct.
And but the default, and I just did it in front, we started with the same number,
Yes. But we didn't.
$11,381,000.
But the default didn't
didn't make the
change,
same-
Bob.
Now, you're right, the default didn't change on two of these, that's what I'm trying to go, that's why I'm trying to figure out what we did.
Yeah.
It doesn't change by the
J2 and 3.
5415, it doesn't change by that, it's only on these three numbers, correct?
And that came out correct.
11 million, that's why I wanted to go do each one individually to make sure, and I think what happened is I made the change to a couple of them, and I might have done that wrong. So 11,382,672.43.
Yeah, they have for the
You didn't
adjusted
know you,
default.
state the proposed budget, what it's supposed to
And
be.
the proposed is just what Peg has on the sheet, 11,335,918.81.
All right.
All right, you guys are right, I will make sure the math on the spreadsheet is right later on.
Oh, my God.
Apologize for the delay, but we needed to make sure we're on the money here.
Well, I have confidence in your spreadsheet.
I have plenty of confidence in the spreadsheet. Here's what I don't have confidence in. I had to keep typing the changes from one page to the next.
I know.
So we'll make sure the numbers match.
Calculator.
I've got it. I've got it.
What are my numbers for?
All right. All right. Back on track on where we were. When we left off the other night, you were working on some other items for us. So I just want to go through the notes, so I'm going to bring that. I'm just going to touch on the notes.
Here somewhere. Okay.
So the notes, and I'm going to bring it up just so we focus on those. Blanks. So what we asked for is under the high school contracted services what was the list of services?
Okay, high school, social worker and ESOL.
And what?
ESOL, English as a second, or ESLO. English is a second language,
Yes, got it.
which is not special ed.
No, I understand what it is. I just didn't understand what ESOL meant. That's not, so I got it.
English is a second
ESL, got it.
language. There is an O in there for some reason now.
Okay.
Other. So that was that. The other thing that you asked about.
The next, yeah, and I got the next one.
What was the next one?
So the next one was, so encumbrance items that were purchased, and we already talked about those,
Yep.
for the digital resources, so we know that. I had to comment down here in regards to the computer equipment, because you guys are meeting tomorrow, or you said something about maybe moving your meeting, but aren't you working on computer grants for next year, or for now?
We already took the 16,000 out. It was in the tech.
We already made some changes.
Yeah, but we've already taken that out, and that was in the proposed budget that we ended up giving you.
Okay,
Then have 11 million, whatever it is, we just agreed that we started with the same.
What I was
number.
trying to understand is, and this is where we get off, is under the elementary, middle, and high school, regular education is computer equipment. That's why I was asking. So the grant money, because that went up, elementary computer equipment went from no line item to $1,000. And the middle went from 130 to 2430. And the high school replacement equipment, which is also under a computer line, went from $100 to $5,000. But you're going after computers, so that's where I'm trying to figure out what was reduced, because that's an increase.
Okay. Right. is under regular ed. Okay, the others that we took out were under check. Uh-huh. You know what? I apologize. I did send that question out. And the question back to me was, where are those additional lines? And I never replied back.
Additional lines are...
Well, no, it was,
So you don't know?
at this point, I apologize. I don't know if Jen and John can jump in.
I still need to know what line. What line? I'm sorry.
Okay, the line items that are in question, the elementary one is 57,340.1, elementary computer equipment, and then it's 57,340.2 and .3, so it'd be the middle and the high school, and those are computers.
No, we don't have computers. These are for Chromebook expenses I put in here because I've had kids lose cables and cords all the time and cases break. So this is just for the equipment now that we're one-to-one to replace any things like that. I've already.
So it jumped from so yours jumped from nothing to 1,000.
Right, 'cause we didn't have.
And the middle and high school jumped from 230 to 7,430.
We didn't have Chromebooks when.
Okay, but I thought Chromebooks were being purchased under COVID, and now...
This is not, this is for now maintenance. This is for cords, cases
Why
that
would
break.
that fall under those funds? If you need them, that should have fallen under those funds.
So the funds that we're getting for Chromebooks is only $400 per device. It's only 4 devices, and that is it, nothing else. Only the 4 devices only.
Do we have maintenance agreements? Do we have maintenance agreements on those?
Yes.
And for damaged cords and things like that, the maintenance
Lost
agreement
cords.
does not, just lost cords. And we're not looking to the families to get any of that money back, correct?
But that's,
So this is for the equipment that goes to keep them up, the cords and everything else.
This year I've been having to take it out of supply money. And it's dwindling my supply money. We're running, because the paper cost is so high, so I'm a little
I guess
concerned about
my
that.
only, when we had the other computers before Chromebooks, why was the budget so low, and now it's, I mean,
I got them out of
it wasn't $1,000, it was 130 and 100. That was it. There was $230 total budget on those 3 line items.
Sending Chromebook.
No, I know, that's
For-
kind of
with
what
kindergartners
So
either.
this is because of them going home and we're losing the stuff that way? All right, all right, I'm just, that's what I was asking. Mike, go ahead.
So, again, let's clarify what Laura was saying. So, when kids take equipment home, there's no contracted.
We have
They
a
signed a
contract.
contract
Yeah, we-
that
Okay,
says,
so what does that entail?
so it said,
And the reason for the budget, because you're asking for the money for lots and stuff.
And again, this comes back to $8,430 that'll stay in the default next year if it's approved, so,
Which we'll need every year. unless-
huh?
We will need it because the.
Hoping you don't need $8,000 worth of replacement
No,
cables
no,
and
it's only
cords.
1,000. I've got 1,000.
When I'm saying 8,000, I'm talking about all 3 schools. You've got 1,000, she's got 7,430. That's
I don't think mine's for Chromebook stuff, so I'm looking right now.
that's the same, it's the same line items, Jen, that's why I'm asking. While she's looking, the computer stuff that the grant month that you guys are looking to get, what is that stuff that you guys, your next meeting when you're going over the grants for computers? What computers are those for?
Just talk.
Yeah, that's me, sorry, hold on.
Oh, okay. Well, I
So,
didn't know it was hers.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
so the E-rate that we're getting is for, it's only a particular E-rate that was special for COVID. And it is $400 per device, and that's it. So we are getting Chromebooks, 300 of them, so we'll pay for 3 Chromebooks. In addition to that, we're getting staff computers. Staff computer will pay for the rest. I believe, and I'm just looking really quick, but I believe mine went up because of shop equipment. It had nothing to do with computers, like it was technology.
no, that was another line. I know we talked about that one,
You got a
Jim.
technology line. This is supposed to be specifically for computer related equipment.
Right, that was just your high supplies line, Jim. We talked about wood shop and cooking.
Supplies for wood shop was like wood. I believe this is like, you know, for,
Technology for the wood shop, okay.
to start using stuff to design, that type of thing.
Like a CAD?
Yeah, but I have to.
To me, that's the kind of data equipment that it's on. This, and coming back to this is coming back down, so it just seems like an awful big jump for replacing equipment. And we're talking about cords and stuff, and now it's something else. That's kind of, and nothing against you guys, I know you're trying, but that's the frustration. You see this, and it's like, I see a jump, and then it takes us the longest time to find out why.
It might be 75733.
I'll tell you what, can we, while you're still looking at that, we can come back. I just want to go back and make sure we tag, because other we can be helpful. You guys have not met and decided anything on the, I'm not saying salaries, on the breakdown between superintendent and business administrator, correct?
Right, but do you want the other answers that I got?
Well, I'm going through these one at a time, then I'll come back. That was the next one in line.
Okay, no, we have not.
That one was, like I said, that was a decision from you guys, and that affects the salary line items, the FICA and the retirement. We did get the dues, we answered that one, so that one's been changed, so eliminate that one. The other question came down to the bus and the leases.
Yes.
So that's, the next one is to why they didn't match.
Okay, the leases that are in the default are current leases because we already have contracts with them. And the increase is for new bus leases for next year. We cannot get a contract for those because we've not purchased that bus yet.
Okay.
Okay?
That's fine, because like I said, I don't have a problem with the default not going up. It was just if it was the same thing, it would have given you that
Right.
opportunity.
Okay, the other thing that you asked about transportation was the health
The
insurance.
wheelchair van, yeah, the wheelchair van and
Oh,
those
well-
types of things, right?
That we, I mean, we have contracts for those, and I already told you that I sent you the warrant articles, that we asked for more for the bus so that we could get rid of that whole
Yep.
contracted stuff. But you asked about why the health insurance is lumped together for everybody except for the
Oh, yes, yes.
vocational drivers. The DOE 25 requires both all broken out. So it's kind of a line in there so that when everything is rolled up for the DOE 25, it's there.
I
Okay?
know you'd answered most of that one, I think, the last meeting too, so.
Okay, what else did you have? Whatever.
I think that was it for the notes.
Yes. Rates, bus. Yeah, I think so
I
too.
think that was it. So it's just on the computer stuff now. Does anybody have, anybody have anything else? Those are the ones that we gave her. And I know we're gonna go back to looking at the budget piece, but that's not necessarily, obviously, if we don't have answers, we need to make that decision on our own next week.
I still have a question with regards to the bus admin retirement going away.
All the business admin.
Business admin retirement going away. If we're keeping the line item in for the pay, then we cannot get rid of the retirement.
Okay.
And I understand that you guys don't know whether or not you're going to keep that, but if it's in the proposed budget for that amount of pay, we have to keep the retirement in there.
Okay. I will just say that that was proposed as a salary for a part-time business administrator, and not enough hours to pay into the retirement, so that's why there is no retirement.
So let me ask this, if it's part-time, still expecting to spend 80,000 part-time? And I mean, where did the 80,000, the reason I say that, if full-time was 81,600,
I know.
how in the heck is part-time only $1,600 less?
I don't know.
That job?
I'm thinking about that.
You
Might
made
be better.
that decision.
Yeah, I know.
No, I understand you haven't made a decision, Doug, but the number came from someplace. And $1,600 off of a full-time job and saying it's now part-time and eliminating the retirement doesn't make sense. We're trying to figure out the numbers because next week we got to vote on this.
Okay. I
And
guess-
I'm just trying to figure out, and it's on the screen, I want to try to make sure, because this was our biggest holdup last week. We're talking the $35,700 increase on the superintendent line is proposed. So from $107,100 to $142,800. And now a part-time business administrator salary, that's only $1,600 less than when we had it full-time. When it was a full-time superintendent and a full-time business administrator, the total was $188,700. Now a part-time business administrator and a superintendent is $222,800 for a budget.
We have not,
Doug, it's still a number. I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the number.
not made a decision if it's part-time or full-time yet. Okay? Humphrey?
Doug, I understand you're not making the.
You're gonna need to make that decision.
I'm talking about the difference in the money.
What are you talking about? We don't know which way we're gonna go, full-time, part-time, or what are we gonna do?
Then we need to add the business administration
Well, we ain't
retire
got
back
there yet. We
in.
can't do it yet. We're just gonna discuss stuff.
Okay. And coming back to Laura's comment, and Doug, I understand what you're trying to tell me. You haven't made a decision, but we need to make a decision next Tuesday on the budget.
Why do we have to wait till next Tuesday?
No, I'm saying we're not voting until next Tuesday is all I'm
Why do we
saying.
have to wait for that? Maybe the others know.
Well, I don't think we're ready because we haven't got all the answers yet. That's all, Paul.
Get the answers at the night of the meeting.
Oh, I think, in all honesty, we can certainly talk about what we believe right now, and that's what I want to do. I'm just talking about the final, between the two budgets, when we vote as a committee. We have the town budget next week, and we can vote the two, where we stand for the total number next week. I want to get us ironed out here on what we think this should be. Lisa?
I don't think that we're going to get any more answers from them, and I also don't think that the discussion should happen with them as they're in the meeting. And this meeting isn't for us making decisions as a budget committee.
This was to try to get answers tonight, so next week we'll
And I think that we've gotten all the answer we're going to get, and I think that we should postpone any discussion of that as a budget committee and what we're gonna, until next meeting. Right.
And that's kind of where I was going for a moment, but I want to make this clear when we're talking to the school board. We have to make a decision on this. And Laura's absolutely right, there's kind of a combination, and I'm strictly talking numbers, and as far as I'm concerned, I know what the intent was. The intent was, we originally had two positions, then we were going to save money by combining it, and now you're deciding whether or not you want to break it up and have it as two positions again. However you divide it out. Having a real hard time here saying that somehow that's gonna cause an increase until we make a decision of 50 grand plus. So, we're gonna have to make a decision, and I wanna hear from other committee members here, and Bob, I'm gonna start, because I know you're frustrated.
Can,
Hang on one second, Lisa, because you wanted to say something, and I wanna hear what you have to say.
I think we ought to I'm gonna put mine on the table right now.
Yes, thank
Okay, right off the bat, in my opinion, you don't know where you wanna go. Well, I'll tell you, well, here's where I wanna go. Business administrator, $1 in it, take the 79,000 out of there. And as for the superintendent, leave it where it is, 107. I think I'm being generous, because I have not seen anything different. We still haven't got reports yet. And to get this tonight, you know, I haven't had a chance to read any of this stuff. I want to look at it before we do it. We're getting all this stuff the same night we're meeting. I haven't got a chance. I need to sit down and look at this. This has never happened like this before. You can tell Nate is gone. It's not going to fly, Mr. Chairman, because
No,
I'm
and by the- and Bob, that's okay.
This is how I'm going to go.
I know.
And I'm going to make it known, this is where I'm going to go with it. And I think I'm being generous at 107 with superintendent.
Lisa, you, hang on one second, no, Lisa, you got a comment?
I wanted to reiterate that I think that we shouldn't have the discussion here, because last week we had a lot of arguing, and I think our discussion as a budget committee is separate than arguing back and forth about why.
Not looking, and I agree with you, I'm not looking to argue with the school board, I was just asking because we had asked if the decision was gonna be made. We have an answer, it's not gonna be made. So as a committee, we need to make a decision, move forward without that.
Possibility it would have been made last night, but now you got the storm coming. Tomorrow. That's what I said, decision made.
Well, anyway, we have to move forward with what we have for information.
All right, we are meeting Monday night before our meeting with you guys Tuesday night.
And I'm gonna back up Bob on this one. This has been one of the most frustrating, and I'm not taking anything out on anybody personally. Peg, I appreciate everything you've done, and I know your frustrations too. This has been one of the most frustrating school years, that I've ever had to deal with in regards to trying to figure where we're going. Bob's absolutely right. We're getting changes at this is what we were trying to avoid, but I mean, we've had 2 meetings on this. I'm gonna come back and say, I appreciate everything you guys are trying to do, and nobody's questioning your efforts. But for us to try to do this, and we've got one meeting next week, for us to turn around and now vote on 2 budgets, and that's it. And as a matter of fact, and I'm gonna express the other piece, because in regards to the town budget, we haven't got all of the information on all of theirs at times either. It's been back and forth. But at least we've been talking with them since September. And when I've asked for answers, we've gone back and tried to get answers, you know, and gotten those answers, so we know where we stand. But to not have answers on December 21st, as we're trying to finalize a budget, this can't be this way next year. We've got to do something better than this. Okay?
I have a question for next week, because we have the teacher's contract. I mean, you guys have the rest of our warrant articles. Obviously, the budget numbers are gonna have to change because that was the old, anyway. But my plan was the teachers have ratified the contract. So I would like to be able to present that to the budget committee. We have a meeting Monday, we were going to vote on it tomorrow night. We're not meeting, so we're gonna have to vote on it Monday night when we meet. And I would like to present that to the budget committee on Tuesday. Because we have to have, one of the warrant articles, what's the date on that? It's sometime in January.
Well, the warrant, in your defense, the warrant articles, we do not vote on, we won't be voting on until well after the budget anyways, it's January. I can read the numbers because I've got
Okay,
those.
'cause I can't remember what the date was.
Yeah, and let me
for
give you that
warrant. I
right,
assume
let
it
me
was
give you
later.
that right now. The warrant articles, we'd like to have them, we don't need it for the budget decision, but we'd like to see it so we know what's
Okay, well,
going
you
on.
have the rest of our warrant articles, but I'd like to be able to present.
Last day for petition warrant articles is January 11th.
This isn't a petition.
The last day for the budget committee to deliver budget and warrant article recommendations to the governing body, because our recommendations, so the committee understands on warrant articles, not happen until January 27th. We don't see all the warrant, so we don't need to scramble and have that, because we're gonna have to meet in January on that anyways, Peg.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure
No.
because,
So, no, my concern is the budget next week.
no, I know.
We're,
And that's why I'm thinking, do you want something else to be presented?
No, not for next week.
all right.
We're gonna have a tight enough budget, I mean, but while we're on that subject, I wanna find out, I mean, before we move away from this, does anybody have anything else before I go over what we have to do for next week?
Mr. Chairman, I
Good, what?
thought we had to have the warrant articles ready for the public.
The warrant articles don't know, that's the budget only. I recommend it, yeah, I'm going by the SB2 stuff. The public hearing, we don't have to have our vote until the deliberative session on the warrant articles. That's when they see our vote on the warrant articles.
And that too.
It's for it's not in here, because like I said, we should see them so that we have an opportunity, and that'll be in our first meeting in January before the public hearing, but we don't have to have the warrant articles in the budget hearing. The budget hearing is strictly the two budgets.
So when,
It's not the way we've normally done it, Bob, I agree, but I know what it got on.
I know, but how are they gonna know when we,
They're gonna wanna know where we stand. As best we can present what we have, even if it's in rough form for that
the
meeting.
warrant articles, they may wanna question some of this. Are they gonna wait till the deliberative session?
That is what this thing has, because we'll
Well, they still see, at the public hearing, they'll still see the warrant articles, we just don't have to vote, is what
We're
you're
not
saying.
voting on, we don't have to vote on them before that. That's all it comes down to. But normally, we have. We have normally done that. I know, we're scrambling now. We've voted in the past few years when I've been on this before our public hearing. But right now, I know that we're not gonna have all of that. And I bring that up because I asked last night, Peg was there, I was asked at the select board when we were gonna have the warrant articles from the select board. They're not meeting again until January 3rd. So we're not gonna see the warrant articles necessarily from the town till our January meeting.
all right, so our January meeting is the 4th, the 25th?
We're gonna have to make an adjustment next week
Yeah,
as to
okay.
what we're gonna meet on.
Okay, good.
Next week's our regular meeting.
Great. Okay, well, you have ours except for the CBA.
Yes, I do. Everybody has a copy of what was presented. Is there, and you guys are not looking, or are you gonna rethink and talk about the equipment? I still think that's a perfect warrant article.
Well,
I know
we'll
the
talk
committee
about that, yeah.
really believes that way. But anyways, while we're both here, last night I also asked about the deliberative session. We have two choices, and this is, I said I would talk to the school board tonight. The two choices for the deliberative session are either Saturday, February 5th, or through Saturday, February 12th. Last night, I know one of the comments that came up prior to me asking that question was about getting the annual report done and going to the publisher. So if we met on the 5th, it gave an extra week. What does the school board think? I'd like to hear, do you guys think it should be the 5th or the 12th? I'm asking because we need to turn, well, you were asking, remember, you were asking because your warrant articles, we need to know.
Right, no, I know.
Told Chris I would go back. I mean, last night we talked about the 5th. Is that satisfactory? If somebody has a hard spot over the 5th, I think that should be the day.
I'm not gonna promise anything.
Chris just got to set the date. So I'm not promising anything. We've got tonight's meeting. I don't know what, how can you guys, I mean, I'm not promising anything. We need to understand, because the select board needs to know, and the town administrator and as the moderator needs to know, so we can publish this and get it on the warrant articles. That's kind of what I'm asking. If you guys are all set with the 5th, I'll go forward with that and talk with Chris.
I have no problem with it. I just am in hopes that we can get everything together from me.
Or another, we have to, because it has,
I know.
everything from, by the way, everything from Nate needs to be by January 11th. 5th of February. 5th of February is the deliberative session.
Mr.
So,
Chairman,
yes.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine.
We've been having meetings, they usually have one deliberative session, who would go first in the school.
Well, that's the next comment, who's gonna go? So the school asked this year, because the town's been going first and the school's been going in the afternoon. I did mention last night that I know this year, the school has asked because they've been, so I believe that they're gonna go forward with the school in the morning, the town, and the second session.
Yeah, what do you want?
That's the reason, thank you, Bob, I'm glad you brought it up, I was gonna bring that
Well,
up
the
next.
majority says the 5th.
Fifth?
Majority.
Okay. I'm thinking about having a fifth right now.
Wait a minute. Hey,
That would be generally, normally it's 8 a.m. on the 5th is what I'm
Don't
expecting.
come to me if you don't get it by the 5th, okay?
What's that?
If you don't get it by the 5th, don't come.
now come to
Don't,
me and
if
yell
we
at me.
don't get a budget,
No, whatever you're asking for.
I don't, I'm a little confused as to what you're saying to me, because you're talking to a mask. I really don't know what you're saying to me. Don't come to you if what?
Well, they've just promised, I hope we get it by the 5th, but I'm not holding my breath.
It was,
Damage will set in.
it was just when the deliberative session was going.
I know.
Hope we have
We'll
everything.
get it, I promise, I'll get it.
Hope you have
If I to
everything by
do it,
then.
I will do it.
Oh, what?
I hope you have everything by then.
I really, I hear what you're saying. I don't know why you're saying, you hope I have everything. We have, this is by law. We have to be ready for the deliberative session on the 5th. With our approved, the budget committee's approved budget going forward for the deliberative session.
Okay. Thank you.
If you have reservations about the 5th, then.
No, they voted on it. I guess.
Karen, I
Yeah,
don't,
go ahead, Bob.
I don't know what's going on. There's something going on in this town, for you people. I mean, this never happened before. And I don't know why, Judge.
Yeah.
I know, you guys keep saying you can't, and Bob's right. I mean, we're sitting there trying to come up with a date for the deliberative session.
You
and
got
you're
it.
telling me, hold on, you're
got it.
telling us, and I'm gonna remain calm here and just discuss this logically. You're saying, you hope I have it, we have everything.
Well, they said they'll have it to you.
Hmm?
Board says they'll have it to you.
We'll have it.
But you as the chairman say,
No.
I hope.
Look, I'm only one of 5, okay? You're only one of whatever this group is.
That's right. And I will tell you, this committee has already done everything that we can. And we will have everything ready based on what we have for
All
information.
right, okay.
Next week, on Tuesday, we will have a vote on the budget going forward. You in agreement there, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
And like I said, we want to work just like we want to work with the town, but if we have to go forward with what we've got, then we're going to come up with the proposed budget, and I can tell you my personal feelings like Bob's. It's not going to look like those numbers in the end. Because that's not an answer that you don't know. That is not an answer.
Don't base it on what I said. Base it on what they
Okay,
said.
I'd like to hear, you got a board in front, I'd like to hear from other members of the board, because your word, Doug, is, we don't know, go forward.
No, I
with
said,
numbers.
I didn't say we.
No, you said it, I'd like to know where the board stands.
I just
You
told
guys are having a board
I
meeting.
just told you where the board stood.
Then you just told me you're speaking for the board, or
No, I
are you
did not.
speaking
In
for
this,
yourself?
the one vote that didn't go along with it, I'm speaking for myself. All right? You're not listening, Humphrey.
So I can't ask your other board members?
You- Right there, ask them.
That's what I just said.
I said, ask them.
Where do they stand on trying to go forward with this?
I just said, they voted the 5th.
We will have the stuff to you.
You're not listening, Humphrey.
Sounds like they plead in the 5th and not voted on the 5th.
No, that's all right.
Okay. All right, I certainly don't want this meeting going south, and that's where it's going. Does anybody from the committee have anything further they would like to ask the school board? Jen?
Well, you asked about the question, and I did get the answer.
Yeah, it was on the computer stuff.
So, the shop teacher did ask for 3 math books and 2 color printers to expand that program. So that is what was in that line for the shop teacher.
Color printer and what else?
3 MacBooks?
Oh, MacBooks, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, I didn't have
the
that.
desktops, just to do certain software programming stuff to increase that shop programs,
Okay.
and 2 color printers.
Thank you. Anything else from the budget committee? All right, that's all we have. If you want to close out your meeting, Doug, well, let's,
Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Travis? Aye.
Aye.
all right, I'll entertain the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Lisa, seconded by Peg. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We're lucky to have chairs. I had to lean on that. The
Oh,
concert.
yeah, I know. When I saw you guys had to do that, I was like, I'm so thankful I'm tall, and I
Let's
was
get comfortable while the ringers practice. I'm like, oh yeah, this is not comfortable.
I would also be afraid of being in the dress and like slipping and.
It was slippery, but it was more, most of the time I just,
Yeah.
I like to send it back out there.
there.
I felt bad.
I need the top row chairs.
Item numbers.
Oh, did you see me up front directing you guys?
I did.
100 point,
You gonna
1100,
show the video?
No, I don't,
57340,
I can have his, I know.
57340, point 1,
I thought was just spectacular.
zeros after that. The next one's point 2 and then point 3.
my most favorite.
They're right here, it's underneath fixing furniture.
On the
On the
bell.
bells, live. See, like I've watched that other video before.
And again, it went from, I think, 100 to 124,000.
It's
I
10.
know exactly where you're going.
Although legally,
Good for him. Okay, yeah, because I'm in service.
If it took them that fucking long to answer.
Well, I know you guys talked about it last night, so, yeah.
but actually I have